Most people think being single is a phase you're supposed to escape, a waiting room before real life begins. But what if that belief itself is the trap? What if the people who stay single the longest aren't falling behind, but quietly stepping outside a system most people never question? Because once you look closely, you realize something unsettling. Staying single isn't always about fear, trauma, or bad luck. Sometimes it's about seeing the game clearly and choosing not to play it the way everyone else does. From a young age, we're handed a script. Find someone, lock it down, build your life around the relationship. And if you don't follow that order, people assume something is wrong. But very few stop to ask why this script exists or who it actually benefits. People who stay single long-term often notice something early. Most relationships aren't built on clarity or intention. They're built on pressure, fear of falling behind, or the need to prove something to others. Once you see that, it's hard to unsee. People who stay single tend to understand something most people learn too late. Every relationship has a cost, not just emotionally, but mentally, energetically, and psychologically. Your time shifts, your decisions get filtered, your freedom narrows. That doesn't mean relationships are bad, it means they're expensive. And people who remain single often run the numbers honestly. They ask themselves, what am I giving up? And is this connection worth that price? Most people never ask that question at all. Many people confuse intensity with connection, drama with depth, constant texting with closeness. People who stay single often don't. They're not addicted to emotional stimulation just to feel alive. Silence doesn't scare them. Calm doesn't feel boring. In fact, they often find emotional noise exhausting. They've learned that peace isn't empty, it's informative. It tells you what actually matters when nothing is distracting you. While others chase relationships, long-term single people study them. They watch their friends compromise themselves. They see resentment grow quietly. They notice how often people stay together out of convenience, shared history, or fear of starting over. Over time, this observation builds discernment. They don't romanticize relationships, they analyze them. And once you truly see how many people are quietly unhappy together, the urgency to find someone disappears. This is a big one. Most people are terrified of being unchosen, left out, overlooked, or alone. People who stay single have already made peace with that fear. They know their value isn't validated by being selected. They don't need constant confirmation that they're wanted. That psychological independence is rare. And once you have it, rushing into a relationship for reassurance feels unnecessary and even dangerous. Many relationships subtly erode identity, not through abuse, but through slow adjustment. You soften opinions, delay goals, shrink habits. People who stay single are often highly aware of this drift. They know how easy it is to lose yourself while trying to maintain harmony, so they guard their identity fiercely, not because they're selfish, but because they've seen what happens when people abandon themselves for love. Some people seek relationships to escape boredom, loneliness, or dissatisfaction with their own lives. Long-term single people usually don't. They've learned how to sit with themselves without needing distraction. They've built routines, interests, and inner stability that don't collapse in solitude. So when they consider a relationship, it's not an escape, it's an addition. And that changes everything. Here's something few people talk about. Staying single preserves optionality. It keeps your future flexible, your choices open, your direction adaptable. People who stay single often value this deeply, especially during periods of growth or transition. They know committing too early or to the wrong person can lock you into a life path that no longer fits who you're becoming. They choose openness over certainty. People who rush relationships often think in terms of comfort right now. People who stay single think long-term. They ask different questions. Will this still work in 5 years? Who will I become if I build my life around this person? What patterns am I repeating? This long-range thinking makes them slower to commit, but far more intentional when they do. To most people, loneliness means being alone. To long-term single people, loneliness means being misunderstood, constrained, or emotionally disconnected even when someone is physically present. They'd rather be alone than feel lonely with someone else. That distinction changes everything. Once you've experienced emotional loneliness inside a relationship, solitude stops feeling like the enemy. People often say you're too picky, but selectivity isn't arrogance, it's clarity. People who stay single usually know exactly what drains them, what excites them, and what they won't tolerate. They're not chasing perfection, they're avoiding misalignment. And they understand that forcing compatibility is far more painful than waiting for it. This is important. Staying single doesn't mean rejecting love, it means refusing unconscious love. These people aren't closed, they're deliberate. If the right connection appears, they're capable of deep commitment, but they won't build a life around potential, hope, or fantasy. They wait for something grounded in reality. For many, relationships are a performance, proof of maturity, proof of success, proof of normalcy. People who stay single have stepped out of that performance. They don't need to display their life to be taken seriously. They've detached adulthood from relationship status, and that gives them a quiet confidence most people never develop. Modern culture rewards speed, fast connections, fast labels, fast intimacy. Long-term single people often move slower by design. They value depth over momentum. They're willing to sit in uncertainty rather than rush clarity. And while that can look like hesitation from the outside, it's often wisdom earned through experience. Here's the truth many people don't want to hear. Staying single forces you to confront yourself, your patterns, your flaws, your fears. Relationships can hide those things for years. People who stay single have done that work early, and once you've faced yourself honestly, you're far less willing to build a life on distraction. People who stay single often trigger discomfort in others, not because they're doing something wrong, but because they represent a choice many people were afraid to make. Their existence questions the idea that happiness requires coupling, and anytime someone quietly lives outside the norm, it forces others to examine their own decisions. So if you're single, by choice or circumstance, understand this: you're not late, you're not broken, and you're not missing a secret everyone else knows. In many cases, you're the one who noticed something others ignored. You saw the cost, you questioned the script, and you decided your life deserved intention instead of pressure. Staying single isn't a failure to connect. Sometimes it's proof that you understand connection deeply enough not to rush it. And if this resonated, that's probably not an accident.